Hey everybody, it's Kyle. Hey, I want to tell you today about one of the worst meltdowns we ever faced and how it became really a tipping point for the happiness in our family. And I want to start by letting you know that we had been struggling for years. We were walking around on eggshells, afraid of the next meltdown. We'd lost friends. We had um, we were slaves to autism. It was ruling our home, and our two sons on the spectrum were in charge of everything we did, our schedules, our happiness, everything. But the worst meltdown we ever experienced was one Saturday morning. I'll never forget it. At 6:30 a.m., my wife and I were awakened by a blood-curdling scream and glass crashing and just smashing. And we went in there. We didn't know what tipped him into the meltdown, but he was in a full-blown meltdown. And you know as well as I do, those meltdowns can last anywhere from 15 minutes to maybe at most 90 minutes. But this one lasted almost 4 hours. He was kicking holes in walls. He was tipping over furniture. He was throwing everything he could find. He was throwing big items. And we just didn't know what to do to bring him back down from his meltdown. Every time we thought we were calming him down, he would ramp back up and go back into a state of rage. And you know what I'm talking about. Those are difficult times when you don't know how to help your son or your family. Well, we finally got him started to calm down, and it caused my wife and I to get into a really bad argument. You know, I think sometimes we want somebody to blame when we're experiencing difficulties. And I think sometimes we unfairly take it out on each other, and it caused my wife and I to just start arguing horribly, and we were just throwing insults back and forth. You know, if you had done this, or if you had tried that, or if you would discipline this way, and it was escalating. My wife and I's argument was escalating to a point of real seriousness. And so I knew it wasn't going to stop. And after arguing for way too long, I just walked out the front door, and I had my keys in my pocket. And I saw my car there, and I seriously considered just getting in and leaving. And as I was walking over to the car, a memory of my father popped into my head. A memory of playing baseball as a young kid. And it was the end of the game, and they hit the ball to me. We were about to win, and I made an error. And the other team ended up scoring a few runs and winning the game. And afterwards, I went to him and I said, "I wish they hadn't hit the ball to me, Dad." And he said, "That's not the way we do things, Kyle. We fight. We don't want to pass the success or failure of our lives to somebody else. You prepare yourself, you work, and you ask for the ball to be hit to you every time." And that memory was just deep set into my head. And I can remember thinking, but this isn't what I signed up for when I got married and had kids. This isn't the life that I signed up for. But I thought, you know what? If I'm going to go down, if my family's going to fail, I'm going to give it everything I've got, and I'm going to fight as hard as I can. But I really didn't know what to do. I mean, there was no books or guides, or there was nothing on how to lower stress and create a happy family while you raised your kids on the spectrum. So we had a big pecan tree in our front yard, and I went over under the pecan tree, and I knelt in prayer and just poured my heart out to God. I knew we were supposed to stay together as a family, but living like this, we couldn't do it anymore. There was no way we could live under the stress and strain and the tension that was just overwhelming in our homes. It was ruining us. Well, after I don't know how long, I walked back inside, and I think my wife saw me, because the first thing I said to her was, "I'm sorry. I know I said some things I shouldn't have said." And she apologized back, and I said, "You know what, Shelly? I didn't sign up for this. This is not what I signed up for." And when she said it back to me, I said, "Here's what. Our family's failing. And if it's going to fail, I'm going to go down fighting as hard as I can. I love you. And I want this to work. And I said, you can either work with me or work against me, but I'm going to work hard to bring back the joy and happiness that we deserve in our home. And she said, I'm working with you. I'm in. And that was the day that we really made the change that changed our lives. So I've got to head into work. You can see I'm sitting here ready to go into work. But if you want to know what we did exactly, how we made that change, I've got a meeting a little bit later today. I'll do a video on my way to that meeting, and I'll tell you what we did and how we made some changes that allowed us to bring back happiness, to lower stress and tension. And you'll want to know this. So if you don't already follow us on Facebook. It'll be part 2, what we did basically, and I want to share that with you in a little bit. I got to get into work. I'll talk to you a little bit later today. Look for that video. You'll love it. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.